Barca will be taking on Paris Saint-Germain in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. A repeat of the round of 16 game Barca had with PSG the last time we made it past the group stage. In today's video, we look at PSG's possession tactics and how Barcelona can possibly counter all of this. Because you're going to see a lot of 2015 Barcelona within this PSG team. But before we dive into this, please do subscribe to the channel. It's going to help us a lot to get the family to grow. Thank you for your undying support to this channel, and thank you for the kind words that you guys always have for me. So without any further time lost, let's get right into the analysis. In their last 10 games, PSG has made use of the 4-3-3, 4-3-1-2 and the 4-1-4-1 formation. The 4-1-4-1 formation is really when Luis Enrique came out and said that PSG needs to learn how to play without Mbappe. So that's why you see the 4-3-1-2 formation. They tried playing Ousmane Dembélé as a number 10, even as a false 9. But as you can see clearly, the biggest formation is the 4-3-3, where you have some really good ratings. But look at the ratings of the centre backs, and I think that will be key for Barca. Structure-wise, this picture describes PSG perfectly as to what Luis Enrique is trying to do at PSG. You can see the centre backs wide, full backs wide, Barcola and Mbappe nicely high and wide. But look at where's Kolo Muani trying to drop deep. And their defense is totally in disarray, right? So they like to set up a long ball in this way. You know, you think they're going to play out from the back, and then they kick long, and then they get Mbappe in behind as quickly as possible. And honestly, this is a tiki-taka way, and this is what Luis Enrique has done before.
Since PSG likes to play so wide and open in the build-up phase, but at the same time they also want to set up that long ball, I think it would be suicide for us to go man-to-man and actually press high. So I would rather suggest that if they build up, I want Lewandowski to really sit down here, and then Rafinha and Joao Felix can basically be on the fullbacks. And then we can also match their free eights, because Vitinha, Hakimi, Lee Kang and Mbappe are really the only ones who I see as a threat. So going man-to-man against this PSG is really suicide. So zonally, that is how I would go defending against this build-up phase. But as you can see, PSG come out with the normal back four, their centre backs and their full backs pretty wide. You see their number 8s, and also their pivot stays in a normal 4-3-3 position. And this is also for the movement, for Mbappe to basically come inside and also try to destroy teams that way. But like I told you guys, this absolutely has Barcelona DNA all over it, right? So this shape, like I said, benefits the through wingers that they have. So how do you actually counter that? I obviously think that the simple 4-2-3-1 will be able to cover this, but I hardly doubt that Luis Enrique will go this way, because I think we have a more talented midfield than PSG man-to-man. So by that time, I think Frenkie de Jong will be back. There's a doubt for Pedri. So you might see Dembélé as like a false 9, right? So to overload the midfield in order to get PSG to go around. And you will see, if this is the case, obviously, then you will see Dembélé going all around the pitch, trying to drop and get on the ball, so you might see that. However, I would like for Lewandowski to keep this PSG side over on one side, because going man-to-man, of course, is a really dire situation for us, especially if they get the ball to the left into Mbappe. So Lewandowski in between the centre backs, of course, is the way to go for us. But I would like to also see Lewandowski and Joao Felix maybe defend in a 2. And then if the ball gets to Hakimi, we can get this midfielder who might be Frenkie de Jong to press from an angle, right? Because the reason why I'm saying this, if we might turn over the ball right here, then you already have these two guys in place to go on the counter, right? Where the one can come to the ball, of course, and the other one can run in behind. So that is what I would like to see, how we can defend and also be good and ready to transition in that situation. So either 4-2-3-1, or we can defend in a 4 with Joao Felix joining Lewandowski up top to be able to transition smoothly. And PSG try to maintain the shape. If they have to move one of the threads next to the pivot to make a double pivot or makeshift double pivot, they will do that. But they try to keep the structure. Look at how Mbappe tried to come into midfield, cutting inside to be like an extra option to get on the ball. However, I want to focus your attention where they played Sociedad, where they actually had to be very good to win the game. Like against Real Sociedad, PSG of course looked to split the centre backs very wide. And you did see that Real Sociedad actually wanted to come on to their centre backs and even their pivot. However, these two free aids were very important because they would circulate trying to draw players out of position where Ousmane Dembélé would come in behind him to try and circulate the ball, where Donnarumma can just look to find these guys up top. And don't forget that the fullbacks were also really outlets for PSG in this instance. Also, if the ball got played to the fullbacks or whatever side, this free aid would come inside, draw the player, or Ousmane Dembélé could actually receive the ball straight. The same to the right hand side, where Dembélé can just come in here and this player has to stay tight, and then the free aid can then enjoy the position, and then they would have a triangle on this side trying to outnumber the opposition. But in total, these midfielders, along with Ousmane Dembélé, tried to stay extremely tight in order to keep the opposition also tight in order for the fullbacks to receive the ball. Then they would lay it off into Mbappe, cutting inside, of course, and then this player has to come tight, and then the fullback would overlap for Kylian Mbappe. So there's a whole lot of ways that PSG can manipulate space, and that's all because they play with a flat 4-3-3 and also very wide horizontally and vertically, having width both sides. So this is going to be a major problem for FC Barcelona to look at, and especially if everything is hitting for them, they need to know their job. And also, Dembélé doesn't only circulate in behind the free eight, he also come relatively deep in order to manipulate the space, and this is drawing players out of position. So Luis Enrique is really bringing back the false nine, but I don't think he would play this against Barcelona, only if he wants to overload the midfield, and this could cause us some serious problems unless we can control the game by ourselves. In conclusion, I feel like Luis Enrique might try to get his best players on the ball, the likes of Kylian Mbappe. I think that might be a lopsided affair for PSG, because why wouldn't you want to get the ball to your best player and the best player in the world? Also, the false nine position of Ousmane Dembélé. So that's going to be huge for PSG, and also something that Barcelona should be able to defend. And also in midfield, you get Vitinha, somebody who's really coming up and he's getting better and better. I've noticed him. But as always, guys, let me know what do you think down below. It's going to be really interesting to see what you think, and also leave your tactical review questions. Let me see what do you think. Subscribe as always. It's going to help the family to grow. Thank you very much for watching this video. Goodbye.